Hey everybody, this is Sanj, and for those of you tuning in for the first time, welcome to The Real Fan Review. Make sure you check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Listen to all our episodes on your favorite podcasting app, and make sure to like us and subscribe on YouTube so you can keep up to date with all the new episodes. If there's a topic you would like us to talk about, just let us know. Our email address is therealfanreview@gmail.com. Real is spelled R-E-E-L. Enjoy the show.
You're listening to The Real Fan Review with Hav, Sanj, Al, and B.
What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? This is Hav here, one of your hosts from The Real Fan Review. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going over Candyman trailer. The Invisible Man. Spoiler, non-spoiler. Not in that order. And with me today, we got my boy Sanj.
Good evening, everybody. As always, it's a pleasure to be with you.
We got my brother B back.
Feliz cumpleaños.
It's not my birthday. Oh, Nina. We got the man in the chair, Al.
How's it going, everybody?
And we got a guest host today. We got Nina.
Hey guys, what's up?
There we go. And guys, let's get it going. Let's get right into it. We saw the Candyman trailer play in front of the movie Invisible Man that we went to see. What's you guys' thoughts, man? Candyman.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Produced by Jordan Peele. I think it's being directed by someone else, though. Let's see here. I believe I have it as Nia DaCosta.
Yeah.
So I thought at first it was Jordan Peele's movie completely, but he's just producing it.
Yeah.
You know, putting his touch on it a little bit.
So she's the director, you said?
She's the director, Nia
He's
DaCosta.
a producer and writer.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm interested. I mean, the last time I remember seeing Candyman was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And it was cool. It was scary, but it was a little corny, if I remember correctly.
It got corny towards the end. And
Right.
The other sequels are obviously corny after that.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see. I think just because I saw Jordan Peele's name attached to it gave me more
That's
interest.
our boy.
Basically,
That's
yeah.
our boy.
You remember when we saw Us? We had to go see it. Come on,
Of course.
it's a Peele movie. But even for you, Nina, what'd you think of the Candyman trailer when you saw it?
Yeah, just because I saw Jordan Peele, I was like, yes, I'm going to see that. I don't really like horror movies. I'm too jumpy and nervous. But I'm definitely going to see that because it looks really good.
On the low, I think as a secret, I think we're all a little jumpy with horror movies.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I saw you in Invisible Man right now. Sanj, man, yourself, man, what'd you think of the trailer?
I thought the trailer was crazy. It looks like super scary.
Right? I was confused because, like, I think me and Brandon had mentioned it earlier. It looks like the Candyman is the guy who played Black Manta in Aquaman. But it looks like either he's being taken over by Candyman or he is the Candyman or something's going on there. But at the same time, there were scenes where it looked like a ghost was pulling someone.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy. I don't know. What do you think, B?
I think it's going to be like the kind of like the reveal movie where, you know, he's going crazy and, you know, he's transitioned to Candyman and he's been Candyman the whole time kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So, like, those scenes where it looks like the ghost is pulling him, at the end of the movie, it's going to reveal that he was the one doing it the whole time kind of a thing. And, you know, it's your interpretation of, the ghost is doing it.
Yeah.
So I think it's
kind
going
of
to
like
be
a
that kind
Sixth
of
Sense kind of
Yeah.
thing,
Yes.
or a Fight Club.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I think he's either gonna be like the son of Candyman or someone who went crazy or something like that. Like we kind of seen those tropes before, but I think it's gonna be really, really awesome.
Oh, man. And Al, man, how about yourself, man? What you think?
Yeah, at first, the only thing that was really drawing me in was that Jordan Peele was involved. I thought he was directing. I thought it was all him. Because Candyman was one of those, it was like a cult type movie.
Right.
Because it didn't get a lot of fanfare and a lot, like, I don't think the box office draw was even that great for it. But it did have a good following.
Right.
So it was interesting to see what they were going to do. I'm glad that it's not a reboot.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a sequel to the first one.
That's what I was gonna ask.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess before the movie comes out, we'll watch the old Candyman.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Does anyone think now that like these older movies are coming back that Leprechaun's gonna make a comeback?
Oh God. Hopefully not, man.
Can we get a
You know
Leprechaun in the Hood?
They're still making Leprechauns like 5, 6 right now. It's just ridiculous.
Leprechaun in the Hood, man. That was the best one. By the way, Leprechaun 1, Jennifer Aniston's first movie.
Stop
Oh.
playing.
Yep, Leprechaun 1 was her
Wow,
first
a little
movie.
fun fact here on the
That's
Real Fan
right.
Review.
You're welcome.
All right, so then let's get right into the non-spoiler of Invisible Man before we get into the spoilers.
Well, this sucks because I'm the only one that didn't get to see it.
You serious? Oh, I thought
Yeah.
you saw it.
No, I didn't get to see it. Oh,
Oh, all right. So Nina saw it.
yeah.
Yes, I did.
You know,
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Wait a
I
minute.
didn't know that.
Uh-oh.
The
Nina's
ta-
like, forget you.
the tables have literally turned.
I actually went with his mom.
Nice. So did I. I went with my mom.
I really didn't know where you were going with that. I'm like, I thought you were about to say, "Hey, I went with his mom too." I'm like, I hope that's not where we're going with this. I hope it's not that kind
We
of.
went to a mom joke. Where was it your mom's, bro? You want to go? Anyway, man, so the non-spoiler review, we're just going to just say quickly what we thought about the movie without getting any spoilers out. And at the end, do you recommend people to go see it? So, Nina, you probably saw it, what, this Saturday, Friday?
I saw it on Friday.
All right, talk to me. What'd you think?
No, I really liked it. I don't want to give too much away. I liked the ending because I wasn't expecting the ending.
Right.
I liked how it ended, definitely. And wasn't the house fly? The house was amazing.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
amazing. Yeah,
It definitely
amazing.
was.
Yeah, it was
Absolutely. Brandon, yourself?
Great cast. Really great cast around the board. Great story. Great settings. You know, I think they really nailed it with this one.
All right. Al, yourself?
Yeah, same thing. I like that they didn't rely on special effects to sell the scares or the villain. They just relied on our imagination.
Oh, yeah, a lot of times.
And even with jump scares, there wasn't a lot of jump scares. So it was just a lot of your imagination and you know, kind of like with the Blair Witch, like putting yourself in that kind of a situation.
Building anxiety.
What would you do? And
the
then
whole time.
that made the scene
Yeah.
scary.
I think it was a point where I looked at you, Al, and I go, I can't do this for like 2 hours, bro.
Kid was in the first
I'm gonna
5
have a
minutes.
heart
What are you
attack.
looking at? What are you looking at?
Where'd you say that name?
Is there something in the corner?
I think I was looking at Al. I'm like, what moved? Something moved, right? Something
Yes,
moved.
Right.
He was like, I don't know. I'm like,
Yeah.
I think it was a waffle. They moved a waffle. I don't know. They opened the fridge. Like,
The camera definitely did some tricks, man.
Yeah.
The camera, it would be looking at somebody, and all of a sudden the camera would move, and like, there's nobody there. Or is there?
and I'm like looking hard. I'm like, it's black back there. Like, is someone sitting down?
Wait.
Is someone turning?
There was a picture going online of an action figure from the Invisible Man, and in the plastic was nothing.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Anyway, listen, as far as I go for non-spoiler review, man, this movie was excellent. It was a good story, like Brandon was saying. A lot of, I don't want to say scares, but there was a lot of times where you felt tension.
Yeah.
You felt like something's going to happen, nothing happens, but you still felt like, is there something going to happen? Is there something there? Is there someone looking at me? Forget her. Is there someone looking at me right now? You know, and I think the movie just did a horror movie well, because it was more than a horror movie. And I think that's something that Al said to me when we were leaving the movie. It's like, it was more than a horror movie. It was more like almost like a dramatic thriller.
Yeah.
You know,
Like
and it was
A psychological
Yeah.
thriller.
I tried to get my wife to watch it, man. I told her it was a psychological thriller. But
Dude, it was dramatic. It was so dramatic.
But a lot of good parts to this movie. I would definitely see it again. As far as my recommendation, I think you should see it, man. Absolutely, because it was done really well. You know, for like, again, these horror movies that Blumhouse puts out, they do these like minimal budgets and come out with these fantastic stories and good visuals, and it was just great. I mean, visuals for an Invisible Man. But listen, that's our non-spoiler review. So we just wanted to give you guys just a little quick take to show what 4 different people think about the movie. And now we'll get into the spoiler review of it in the count of 5.
4.
3.
2.
1.
We're going to spoilers, guys. It gives you enough time to pause us, come back to us if you haven't seen the movie yet. We don't want to spoil it for you. Sanj, my bad, kid.
Listen, I no one's forcing me to be here. So
Sanj's gonna walk out and come back.
That's what I told him.
But you know,
That's it. I'm out of here.
I mean, he lives here, so like it works.
but listen, honestly, even if we spoil this movie, Sanj, you're gonna see this movie and you're
And
gonna
still enjoy it.
You're gonna enjoy
You
it,
see,
man.
well, that's how you know it's a good movie. Like you can know it and then still not know it.
Yeah, man. And it's funny because even my mom was like almost talking in the movie. She's like, "Oh my god, how you she?"
I know.
For real, she said, "I know" at the end. So let's go in order of the movie, how it goes, kind of thing. We're not gonna go beat for beat, but just certain things that you liked about the movie. One of the things that I appreciated, because what horror movies do sometimes is they show too much or they tell too much, right? Because there's certain things about horror movies that, we're getting into ugly parts of life, right? They didn't do it, but what they said enough, right?
Yeah.
They said that this woman was definitely in a physically abusive relationship, but they didn't show it. Because the one way that they said it was, they asked her, did he used to beat you? And she goes, amongst other things. And I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
So that's all you needed to know. And then throughout the movie, she just kept saying different things that, he basically warped her way of thinking into the eventually end where he was doing her thinking for her.
Yeah.
He broke her mind, basically.
Yeah, pretty much, man. He had her isolated. And what happens right from the beginning is we get this escape.
Yeah.
And the escape is pretty...
Yes.
That was
It was
crazy.
already tension-filled.
Hurry up. Yeah.
And
I was
that-
like, you're walking
it
too
was-
loud. You're breathing too loud.
That whole thing, I was just like, yo, don't mess this up. She kicked the dog bowl. I'm like, oh, it's over. It's over. You gonna hit. Like,
She kicks the dog ball over, and then you see the guy doesn't wake up. Everything's still fine. Then the dog shows up,
yeah.
and then she sets the car alarm off. I was like,
And he was still like out. He was out cold. I was like,
Yeah.
no. I was like, this is a feed. Like he had this going on a loop. Like, nah, man.
I know. Yeah.
So then you see this character is running. I think her name was Cecilia in the
Yes.
movie.
Yes.
So Cecilia Cass is running out of there. Nina, what's your thoughts, man? You're seeing her run. You're seeing you could just see in her that she's like in a state of panic.
Yeah. And then she finally, the sister comes up. She jumps in the car, and then of course he still catches up with the car. I was
Of
like,
course,
no!
horror trope, but we gotta have it.
Yeah.
This is an Olympic sprinter.
Yeah.
No, he probably just walked slowly and still caught up with the car, just like Jason and stuff like that.
Well, not for nothing, her friend was late.
Yep.
That was his sister.
Oh, so her sister was
sister.
late.
Yeah.
Her sister was late to pick her up, but she showed up within a few minutes.
But now that was my only problem with that one scene
Go
was
for it.
you're planning that whole escape. You don't tell your sister why she's coming to pick you up on a back road behind the house in the middle of the night that she has to ask, what's going on?
Right. Didn't they say too, she had
So you just didn't want to hang out at
What's
3:18
going
in the
on?
morning? Like,
Yeah.
right? Well, wasn't it that she hadn't even been able to speak to the sister in a while, right?
So
Something
how'd
like
the
he
sister
kept-
know to be there?
He kept her trapped and under wraps, so somehow she got to speak to the sister.
Somehow, right? It must have sent a message or
Yeah,
something.
Yeah.
But anyway, we get her escape, and it did the what was it, 2 weeks later or something like that?
yeah, it was like
Yes.
2 weeks.
Yeah, tried to do the Avengers Endgame thing there, but it wasn't exactly 5 years. But then we get 2 weeks later, and then again, it shows a lot with certain things, with just a small detail, which shows a lot. He goes, there's another character played by Aldous Hodge. I forgot he was a police officer
Yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah.
He was great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. He needs to be in more stuff,
Yeah.
clearly.
Yes, he is.
Nina,
Sorry.
relax. Sasha know why when he sees it.
Listen,
Yes.
man, listen, we have our.
Yeah, there was a scene with flexing
we
his
have our-
tricep, and
we
I was
have-
like,
Yes,
his tricep's not even on his body anymore. Like, what is that? It's the biggest tricep I've ever seen in my life. It's
Guy,
not real.
he was definitely built. It was
Yeah.
a Superman moment, yes.
He
He
needs
was
to
trying
be
to
in
get
a
casted. He
Marvel
was
movie
trying to
at
get
some
casted. That's why.
He
He had to flex hard real quick.
he is definitely going to be a superhero soon. He looks like one already.
All right, Moon Knight.
But anyway, man, I mean, he asked Cecilia to go get the mail. And to see her face as far as he goes, you haven't gotten even that far yet. And she just had to go to the front of the house to get the mail, and she couldn't do it.
Was
you know?
she just afraid to go outside?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
She
He
felt
had her
like
shook like that.
Yes.
Yeah, man. It was just insane. And then, through the conversation you see going on between himself and Cecilia there, you could tell she's been through a lot. She's going through a lot. She's still worried. she's still
But
scared
Elizabeth
that.
Moss does those crazy characters like
I know, I
really
was
well.
thinking that too.
Well, that's what
She
Brandon
has
was
that-
saying.
that-
Something about
Even-
the Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
in
a
Handmaid's Tale,
dark
and even in
The Kitchen.
The Kitchen.
Yeah.
Like her character, she was like nuts because
She
like the
always
boyfriend,
plays a
like she hooked up with the
strong
dude, and
female, I like that.
and he's like disassembling a body. And she's like looking at him, and he's like, "What? Like I'm sorry." Like, and she's like, "No, show me how."
Oh wow.
But like, and you see like psycho in her face. Like this
Yeah.
is turning like, this is like their bond. They're bonding over disassembling a body. So she really does that psychotic character very well.
Well,
Yeah.
they definitely got the right
she
person
plays
to play
the
this
survivor
character.
very well.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
She's very good at that role.
Yeah.
And then with the I think that's when the sister shows up on the screen, and the sister, again, small details show a lot. She's like, "Why are you here? He knows where you live. He would have
Yeah.
followed you here."
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow, this is just tough, right? So then we get the sister comes with the news saying that the boyfriend had committed suicide.
Yeah.
Now this is the part where
Her
it gets
husband. It was her husband, right?
no, I think was it boyfriend?
No, I'm not sure. I'm not
It was her
sure.
husband.
No, because they don't show that she still has Cass as the last name. So
Yeah.
And his last name was
boyfriend.
Griffin.
I think
Yeah.
he wanted to
He
keep going.
wanted her to
Yeah.
get pregnant. Like he wanted the
Yeah.
kid.
Oh,
That
I
was
thought
the whole
her
point, but I don't
husband.
think they were
'Cause
married.
then when the brother came in with the money, whatever.
Yeah, no, go for it, definitely.
No, I just assumed. Maybe I just assumed that it was the husband.
Yeah, I mean, well,
It was interesting because
It
it,
really
wasn't
was.
defined. It
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
wasn't defined.
And then I was trying to figure out like, was his sister having something with the cop friend? Were they together? I wasn't sure.
I didn't know either.
that was the one question
Right.
that never got answered.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
she ran, she didn't run to live with the sister. Granted, because
because
the
it's
guy
too
would
obvious.
know where
Yeah.
she lived. But how does he not know about this close enough cop friend that she's staying at the house?
I think because they didn't explain it correctly, or they didn't show it like much detail. I think what it was is she was a police officer or a sergeant, and he was one of her like officers on the in the precinct
department.
or the department. Yeah,
Really?
Oh.
and that's why he didn't know about him. That's why she was mad when she showed up at his house. She was like, he knows where you live, and he would have followed you here. You know?
Okay, it explains later then. Oh, see, I didn't catch that. I don't know why I didn't
Yeah.
catch that, because then it would explain later why she did know how to handle a gun when stuff later in the movie goes down. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, man. But you know what? Let's just get into like little aspects of the movie. Like, for instance, Cecilia Moss, played by Elizabeth. I'm sorry, Cecilia Cass, played by Elizabeth Moss.
Yeah.
Nina, what'd you think of her portrayal in the movie as an actress, as
Yeah, I
her
think
role?
I think that was like the perfect actress to play that, because like I watched Handmaid's Tale, and she can just like, she just does this like face, just like she like is like removed from everything, like
Right.
just like a deadpan face or whatever you call it. Yeah, I thought it was great. I think she was.
Yeah, I think for this movie, really relying on her to sell the entire movie.
She had to sell the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Well, she had the antagonist that was there the whole time. We just didn't see him.
Brilliant.
Which I do have to say, Oliver Jackson, he plays the actual like man, because I don't know if we're gonna get into it yet
Yeah.
about the other one, but he plays the actual antagonist of the movie. And his acting, like for the limited time that he's actually shown in the movie,
Yeah.
he acts great. Like he plays the psychopath, great.
Yeah.
You know,
That's Adrian.
yeah, that's him. He I don't think he's been in a lot of stuff.
Uh-huh.
He's really been in that Netflix does a Haunting on Hill House.
Right.
And he played a brother, and he was like a drug addict, and he was a rehabilitating drug addict, and like his acting, like you believe, like you thought maybe this guy was actually on drugs, like filming this, like he sold that.
That's
so to
a good
see him,
acting, man.
to see him here in the villain role, and in the beginning of the movie, like you didn't really see his face.
No.
They
Right,
kind of
right,
like
yeah.
didn't show him a lot, which was
Yeah.
really nice. And then only they showed him at the end of the movie. And for him really only being in the movie for a total of 5 minutes,
He did his part.
He
Yeah.
did great.
Yeah.
So kudos to him.
Yeah. Al, man, what did you think of the lead actress there?
No, she did a great job. Because for a movie that, and I'm glad they didn't go this way, because Invisible Man was originally supposed to be part of like that dark universe.
Mhm,
It
the
was-
Universal
It was
yeah.
supposed
Dark
to be more on
Universe,
the
yeah.
horror side. I'm glad they went more with the thriller, psychological aspect of it, because as she went through every scene, they would just show a chair, and then
Right.
they would turn back to her,
Right,
and
right,
you
right.
could feel her stress, her fall, because she went from okay, I'm just a little scared, to full-fledged, yo, this girl's crazy.
Yeah, that's horrible.
If you're someone else observing it and you didn't know what was
She
going
was like
on.
straight paranoid.
Yeah, like, yo, there's somebody there. Like, if you really didn't know what was going on or that it was even possible, you'd be like, yeah, okay.
Even before things started happening, remember she was in that coat room, or like it's like a little room where they had coats hanging behind her, and she just turned around and just looked at the empty hallway, and you're just like, she feels something. You know what I mean? And people always say you feel somebody watching you. I've never felt anybody watching me. You know what I mean? But like, you could tell she did.
Yeah.
And she was right.
Yeah.
it was almost kind of like that. Like, I kind of took like a reminiscence kind of a thing. Like, you haven't seen somebody for a while, but like if you catch that scent, like you kind of like get alarmed for a second. Like, like I know that smell, like this and that. So I thought for a second that maybe she didn't notice that he was watching, but maybe she like caught his scent, like because it had been a while since she'd been around him and everything. So I thought it was like kind of like that, like what the fuck, like I know that, like I know that feeling, I know that scent kind of a thing. So that was actually a really cool scene because it was like, oh shit, there's something there.
I got you, man. And then so after this whole like thing where she's in this new house and everything, one of the things that happens is, again, the sister comes in letting her know that the boyfriend committed or husband committed suicide, right? We're not exactly sure of which it is, right? So then she goes to a lawyer because she gets a
notice to heirs.
Notice to heirs. And I'm like, really? Okay, let's see. And sure enough, she's granted, I believe it was $5 million to be paid out $100,000 per month.
Right.
And it's all contingent on her not being crazy or committing a crime.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it was?
Right.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
And she's just like, at first she didn't trust it.
Because the lawyer is also the guy's brother.
The lawyer was the brother of Adrian. And so what she does with the money, the first thing she does, which was really nice, is she took care of the people who were taking care of her. So the character that Aldous Hodge plays, he has a daughter that's, I guess, trying to get into college.
Yeah.
So sets up a college fund for her to put $10,000 a month in there. And then she also gives, she gave Aldous Hodge a little bit of money, and they celebrated. And then we have her sleeping with his daughter in the same bed.
Yeah.
And
that's
like
weird.
sharing the bed.
No, they were sharing the
She's
bed.
sharing the bed.
Yeah, they were sharing the
She's
bed.
like a teenage girl.
Yeah. It was really innocent.
I don't think there was an extra bed in the house.
Yeah.
I don't think there was an extra room.
Yeah, it was really
The
innocent.
couch. You hit the couch. I have no crazy lady sleeping in my daughter's bed.
So what's it called? We see that the phone leaves. It just drops.
Yeah.
And then you start just seeing in silence, though. That's the cool part. It wasn't frickish, frickish. No flash. It was just lights.
Yeah.
Lights.
Yeah.
Lights. And you're like, oh, shit. And I thought she was going to wake up and see the camera up in the air. But no, it's just, the pictures were taken and that was it. And now, is this when she gets up and she moves the blankets?
Yeah,
No,
he
he moved the blanket.
moved the blanket.
He took the blanket off the bed.
He pulled them off.
Oh,
That's the scene. That's
He pulled them
still.
off, and then
They
took
stole
the
that
pictures.
scene straight out of
Paranormal.
No, the original Invisible Man with Elizabeth Shue, when she was playing, because they had a scene just like that.
I figured they were nods. They had to be nods to the first one,
Yeah,
right?
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
Oh, Hollow Band?
Because I think
Hollow
Hollow
Man. That might have been.
Because
No,
I was gonna say.
no. It was the Invisible Man.
Because I thought there was
It
another
the
Invisible Man.
No, because there was
But
Hollow Man, and
there
then
was
there
Hollow
was.
Man with Kevin Bacon.
That's right.
That's the one with Elizabeth Shue. No?
Is it?
Okay, so then it's Hollow Man.
Okay.
Wait,
Invisible
and wasn't-
Man is like very old.
Yeah, really old. And isn't Dark Man, wasn't he invisible also?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't
It
invisible.
was dark.
No, I think that he had gotten burned and whatever, and he had was printing
Okay.
skin that would melt after, and he was like, his thing was he was trying to figure out the formula to print skin for himself that would last, as opposed to like disintegrate in like 30 minutes or
Gotcha.
or whatever.
For some reason, I thought he was invisible, but my bad. So anyway, we get these like little things that
felt
keep
invisible.
happening. These little things keep happening one by one that she starts to feel like he's alive, and she just knows it.
Yeah.
And that's when these things started to happen to her, where I think the first incident was she went for a job interview.
Yeah.
And
He
with
took all the shit out.
He
Oh my
took-
god.
Her portfolio, all her work is gone.
right,
Yeah.
she goes to the bathroom to take a shower, and then when she gets out of the shower, She comes back, and in the first scene when she was running away, she dropped a pill bottle of dopazine.
Drama.
Dramexin?
Not Dramamine.
No, not Dramamine.
Something with a D.
Drambuie?
No,
It was something basically to make him more
Well, then
tired.
she had drugged him.
She drugged him to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
fall asleep,
Yeah.
and the bottle appeared on the counter. So
Yeah.
now she's like,
'Cause he had
okay,
drugged her then.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
So then she kind of figured something's up.
Right.
So in her anger, without telling the police officer what's going on, she takes Aldous Hodge with her to the brother who's the lawyer, and she goes, "Tell him to stop."
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he's like, "Tell who?"
And then they're both like, what the?
Yeah, and because he goes, "Did you know what she's talking about?" He goes, "No, she hasn't told me anything, but you better listen."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, I love this guy.
Yeah.
That's my big brother right there." And she says, "You know what's going on." And he's like playing stupid, the brother, you know,
Yeah.
doesn't, he said, "I don't know what the hell you're talking about." And she goes, "Tell him to stop. I know it's him." And that's when the cop is like, "You're bugging out, you know,
Yeah.
and you need to just chill and do all these things just to relax." They found his, his dead body and all this
And they
stuff.
showed him. They showed the
But that
pictures.
was so,
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
here's the pictures, by the way. Like,
exactly.
That was so
Yeah.
simple. Here, look at
And now I have a
At least I'm gonna
question.
have these in my pocket.
I have a question about that. And I get that he definitely had to have faked his thing, but the pictures and everything, and there had to be more that happened for them to say that he was dead, no?
Well, it probably
mean,
seems like the
Dead
brother
body's
took the
pretty
picture.
conclusive.
yeah.
It probably
That's what
looked
you
like
would think.
he took the pictures, and then someone paid money. I mean, there was money there,
Right.
so someone paid money to fake a police report, and then
Well, yeah,
they
how much-
just
he was a
made
millionaire,
ashes, and that was really it.
Yeah,
So that someone paid money.
I got you.
know.
All right, so that's the part that got me. I'm like,
See, now-
she had pictures.
Oh,
and all
what
this
if
stuff.
it was the brother all along? Because I know we haven't gotten to that supposed
Yeah,
part of
yeah.
it, but what if the brother really did tie him up? Pay at this point he has access to all the money. Pay a funeral home to say, listen, you burned the body. Just give me something that you cremated my brother.
Right.
He didn't
And
look
that-
that smart. He didn't look that smart.
I
to
mean,
me.
he's an attorney. He's a high-end
lawyer,
attorney.
I mean-
Yeah, he was a high-end attorney,
especially like
and it's just paperwork.
He's
at
not
that point.
influenced by attorneys,
I
clearly.
think why mostly because of the way. I mean, I'm jumping ahead, but the way that he had acted later on
Right.
as the bad guy wasn't the same as the Invisible Man in the beginning.
Okay.
They weren't acting the same. They didn't play through it the same way.
Oh, we're gonna have to get into that then.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get
Yeah,
into that a
'cause-
little bit later then. All right, cool. So let's get to the real scares and stuff like this now, because this is when the intensity starts to jump up on this movie. Now he's a little bit more aggressive. I think now he does the whole scene where he's stepping on the blanket, right?
Yeah.
He's
That was
stepping on the
so he
comforter,
slept on the blanket.
and then she knows now that someone was there, and she even tells the guy. The next scene I think was a little crazy and effed up, and that's the scene where, she's crying because maybe I'm mixing this part up, when the Invisible Man hit the daughter.
Yeah. He
Oh no, this was later.
This
That
is
was
later.
later.
This is later.
So the first thing that happened was the
The
attack.
sister.
This.
He had emailed the sister.
Oh
Right,
yes.
saying that it was Cecilia. Yeah.
Saying that
So
to
it was
you know,
Cecilia
Oh,
that
that's
you're
crazy.
I
not
want you out of
you're
my
not giving
life.
me
I wish you would
space.
die.
Yeah.
I wish you would die.
And she's like, I didn't write that email. And this is the part where, because again, we didn't know where the movie was going with this. I thought it was gonna be that she was actually crazy. There was no Invisible Man.
Yes, I saw that happen.
I started
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
that right
I
then
thought
and
so.
there, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna catch all this shit.
Yeah.
You're not fooling me, Blumhouse. And then the email happened, and then she
Goes home and she's crying, and then they try to console her,
right.
and that's what she gets decked.
Now again, it's the Invisible Man that does it, but I still didn't like it, man, because the girl was supposed to be playing like 17, 18 years old girl who gets punched in the face,
Yeah.
and she's just like, she hit me, and I was like, oh, and then Dad
And
comes
then
home.
Dad was like, "You need to go."
Yeah.
But then he left with the dog.
And that's when I
then
actually
she by
started
herself.
believing that she was kind of like crazy.
Yeah.
Because the way she was chasing him out the door, she's like, "No, you have to believe me. Like he made me do this and then blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like I didn't mean to hit her. Because she even said like I didn't mean to hit her. Blah 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 blah." And so like it was like, but you didn't hit her, But
Yeah.
I guess because he had believed that she did. She was like, no, I didn't mean it. Like, I didn't mean, like, no.
Yeah.
So, like, she started chasing him out the house. And it was like, maybe she is the crazy
Yeah.
one. You know, like
Right.
maybe she is because she's a kind of accepted ownership over that.
Right.
Even though she was clearly still on the floor when she got hit. So like it couldn't have been her.
Right,
to
right.
our eyes. So like I don't know.
But this whole entire time, she kept saying, I know it's him.
Yeah.
He even said to me that if, you know, even if I were dead, I would find a way to bother you or harass you.
Yeah. I'll never leave you
I'll
alone.
never leave you
She was
alone.
thinking of leaving, and she didn't even say anything. And he came up to her, and he's like, "Oh, I know what you're thinking right now. You could never leave me because I'll always find you."
Right.
You can
Yeah.
never get away from me.
Yeah.
You know, and in that moment when she said that,
Yeah.
he even knew what she was thinking. I was like,
Yes.
did this guy have technology on her brain? like,
Because
He got mind control like her over like Debo.
yeah.
That's what I was like, the guy knows a lot about optics. I was just
Yeah,
like,
like
but
he
I didn't
said,
know
like,
he
how
was
much
like,
he feels
you know,
like.
like
Yeah.
a brain man.
It's just crazy. So,
Yeah.
and I think this is when it really hits the fan, is this part here, because after the father and the daughter leave,
Yeah.
she's by herself in the house and she knows something's up. You see her looking in the hallways. She feels like something's there, and I think that's when she breaks the coffee grinds and puts it all
Yeah.
over the floor.
Yeah.
You know, and then nothing happens. And I thought that was smart because, again, that plays with us thinking, no, she's bugging the hell out.
Right,
There's
right.
nothing there.
Yeah.
And then she calls the cell phone number.
Yeah, that part was
That
crazy.
is when I got the goosies, right? She calls the cell phone number, and it starts to vibrate in the attic. Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, just crazy.
So wait. So he had his cell phone?
For a
is he
reason.
how is he keeping it invisible?
Well, no, not that he had the phone, but he had left it in the attic upstairs.
Purposely.
Oh,
he
yeah,
wanted
yeah,
her to
yeah.
find it.
Yeah.
He
Right.
put it up there.
He like wanted to be caught.
And again, even though it's the phone that's ringing upstairs and you see that she's calling his number, you're still questioning whether or not what's really happening
Yeah.
here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then
Maybe
sure
she
enough,
found it and she put it up there.
exactly.
Yeah.
So she goes to look for where the ring is coming from. She goes to the attic, and in the attic they're looking around. She's looking around, and she finds the knife that went missing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She also finds her paperwork for the
Yeah,
architecture
portfolio.
job,
Yeah.
and there's the phone.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what is going on? What is happening
Yeah.
here? You know, how are they really gonna, play with this invisible man thing? You know? And we get the oh shit moment, which is stupid that they showed it in the trailers.
Yeah.
I really wish
Oh,
they
really?
did.
I actually didn't.
They showed it in the
Yeah.
trailers.
Oh, I didn't even
Yeah.
see the
With
trailer.
paint, yeah,
They
yeah.
should have never showed that in the trailers, man. And again, guys, you see the trailers. She pours paint out of the, what is it, the cellar,
The
On the attic,
attic
like the door.
stairs or
Yeah.
whatever. And there it is, man.
Yeah.
You see him real quick, the face,
honeycomb.
the honeycomb look,
Yeah.
and he goes running, man.
Yeah.
And right there, we know she ain't losing her mind.
Crazy.
So now that we got to the Invisible Man, finally, Nina, what's your thoughts on the Invisible Man himself? What'd you think of like the CGI, the way he was portrayed in the movie?
Yeah, no, I really liked it. I thought I felt the same. Anytime you would just look, like they would always look at it like a random corner, and she's like, "He's there." I'm like, "Is he there?" Sure. Yeah. But then when she finally did that part when she threw the paint on him, you're like, yes.
Right?
Crazy.
Not crazy, right?
Yeah.
And Bree, what you think of that whole scene? Because even after the scene, even after she threw the paint on him, that's when we got the real fight.
They started fighting. Yeah.
Yeah, that part was
Which is
funny.
like I thought about because I was
Like how to act
as we were
part,
watching
right?
it,
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you act that out? Like,
Yeah.
just like you. But then you think about it, like, if that happened in real life, I would probably look at the same thing. Like, I don't know what I'm swinging at, and I'm you're dragging me. I don't know if you're dragging me. I don't know what that is. Like, I'm gonna swing at something, and hopefully, like, I get out. But then I'm like, where do I go from there? I don't know where you are. So when she just started swinging at shit, and she started grabbing plates,
Yeah.
grabbing pans, and she's just swinging away, I'm like, that's silly. I'm like, oh, but no, I would actually do that because I don't know where you are.
I would go for my bag of flour.
There you go.
Well, she had the paint, and then she tried to do something else, but then like he made like quick hits, and then like ran away. Like he made like real quick hit, like threw her across the table or something, and then like
Yeah.
he ran out the
Flip the
door
table
real
or
quick, or
something, yeah.
opened the door to make her think he ran out the door.
Right.
And so it was crazy.
All right, very crazy, man. Now, Al, man, take us through the next scene there, man. So she runs out of the house after him because I guess he feels like he almost got caught. The invisible, quote unquote, man is now, knowing that he's there.
Right.
Runs out the house. She leaves the house.
She's chasing after
She
him.
calls a lift.
Yeah, that part is so funny.
She called a lift, or she asked somebody to stop.
No, she called
No,
a
she
lift.
called
No,
she called a lift
She
on her
did,
phone.
She did.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Yeah.
She Ubered help.
And the guy's like,
Is that
"Oh,
the
this
next
is
one?
really far."
Is Uber Black? Uber Black, right?
Oh man.
Uber Eats.
Yeah.
And now Uber Help. Oh my God.
That's the police.
Not in this movie.
So Al, man, she gets in this car, man. Where she headed, though?
She went back to Adrian's house,
Yeah.
which is it was a reach, I guess, but they had to do it. But how did she know to go back there?
I think she was just looking
And
for
why
proof.
would she
You know,
do that?
so
You had to find
so
out, like,
that actually
is he
made a
gonna be
lot of
there?
sense to me because in the beginning of the movie when she was making her escape, she looked
And there was
at
an
that
empty-
at that case,
Right.
and she looked at it for a second, and I looked at it too, and I'm like, it's empty. I'm like,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
is it holding the invisible suit?
Right.
And then turns out when she gets there, it's holding an invisible suit.
Right.
So it made sense to me because I guess she was trying to find proof that she wasn't going crazy or that like there's something
But
there.
they didn't lock her out. Like, sure, her code still
Yeah,
worked.
the same
The other
thing.
code to the house were going. I mean, the guy was
Maybe-
dead.
Maybe he did that on
And
He
then-
was quote unquote dead.
Yeah. Right.
So how are you going to change the code when if he dies?
I thought she was looking for proof that he was living life still.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I
But
thought
he was just
I thought she was
haunting
looking
her
for
the
proof.
whole entire time.
The dog was there just chilling.
Because
She,
they
she
didn't-
did stop and looked at it, so she had a feeling something was there, or that there was meant to have something there,
Yeah.
because you couldn't see anything in there. It looked just clothespins were holding things together, but
Yeah.
wasn't anything you could see. So
Yeah, man.
And then, was this before or after she met with the sister, or did she meet with the sister
this is
after
after
this?
After
No, I thought that
The-
was before.
this is before
So
the sister.
the meet with the sister that you're talking about that happened before was the letter.
No,
Was the
the
email.
dinner.
Just the email.
Now I'm
No,
talking-
that's
the dinner.
after.
Dinner's
This is after that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Because she wanted to have she had the proof.
Yeah, she needed. Okay.
Yeah, she wanted.
Because she didn't bring it with her. That was the
No.
other thing. She
She hid it.
finds
She
it,
hid it.
and hides it.
She hid it there. Yeah.
So I'm like, why wouldn't you take it with you? Why
Yeah,
wouldn't you put it on,
Uh-huh.
walk out the house? Like,
And then we thought too. We swore that the lift guy, whatever, was gonna be dead.
Yeah,
I thought he was gonna be
yeah,
dead too. I thought
Yeah.
he was gonna be dead when he got out
He was
there.
just
Gonna
chilling,
be
like, whatever.
Am I remembering correct? Did
Like
the
you-
Invisible Man show up at his house also?
Yeah,
He showed up there,
He showed up
right?
at the house because
Yeah.
the dog chased him out.
Yeah, we were like, he's on the top of the car. That's what I said.
He opened up the- he
Oh,
opened
that's
the
right.
closet.
Because when she was in the closet, she saw the footstep.
Yeah.
No, okay. So then after this, that's where she calls her sister to tell her to meet her
Convinced her.
somewhere.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, to convince her.
In a public place. In a public place.
Yeah.
Wait, let me rewind for a second.
Go for it.
So it was an invisibility suit.
Yes.
Yes,
It
sir.
had
Okay.
cameras on it.
It's cameras, and the
Honey,
entire
oh,
suit was
everything.
cameras.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, so it can project what's in front and behind. So
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I got it.
The entire suit was cameras, and I thought that was clever
I thought it was
because
really cool.
I thought it was gonna be like a spray.
I thought it was some like biological process that he underwent to.
See, and that was the part.
Because he's the optics scientist.
But that's the part that bought that that little thing that sticks out because you're trying to be realistic about
for
it,
it.
even though you really shouldn't because you're supposed to suspend reality. How do you not hear the footsteps? I can understand. Okay, you can't see them, but this is not a small guy, and I'm sure
Well, I mean, he could have been like he could have
you
taken
can hear
ninja training.
something.
I'm just throwing shit out there.
they're
bro.
walk-
I mean, you couldn't see the suit, so you don't know what padding was there.
Yeah, I
mean,
don't know. Like
bad guys
that's what I
don't-
was wondering. Like
Bad guys
even when
don't hear
he's
Batman
running,
coming.
you don't hear the
You
running.
never run on tippy toes, bro.
No.
I was like, absolutely not. No.
Yeah, like when he went up the ladder, there was like you didn't even hear the ladder shift. Then again, granted, you're supposed to suspend reality for a lot of these scenes, but they paid so much attention to detail on everything else.
Yeah.
Like I thought they would have at least answered how he was able to move around, and nobody heard him.
Heard him.
You would have
Yeah.
heard my knees crack like when I got off the seat. Who's there? Shit.
Oh man. And I think I'm gonna call this right now, today, March 1st, the Real Fan Award for the oh shit moment of the year.
Oh yeah.
Yo.
It's gonna go to this Invisible Man dinner.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yes.
That had us all
That
off.
was
That
so crazy.
Came
That was
out
crazy.
of nowhere.
Yeah, kid, I thought it was gonna be like she flashed back and the sister was still alive talking. Like I thought it was just like
A weird
like
thing.
a weird imagination scene or
Yeah.
something. I was like,
And I
wow.
was like, yes, she's gonna tell her the truth. She's gonna help her. Everything's gonna be great.
Yeah, she was all like, I want to be
No.
strong just like you.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and that's when she told her, like, you're a police officer and this and that.
Yeah.
And everything, and we haven't said what happened yet.
No,
but
because I'm just eagerly looking. He's eagerly looking right now.
this is a bad part because I almost don't want to ruin it for the kid, man. But the oh shit moment of the year is
Yeah, the sister's looking at her like a face like, what the hell is that? And then she's like, what? And then she turns.
there's a knife
Floating.
floating next to her face. Now this is the part where I don't understand happened. Did the knife fly and just cut her throat, or because I could have swore I saw her hand holding the knife.
No.
He
He was holding the knife.
He must have
slit her
must
throat.
have grabbed her hand with one, did the slice, and then brought it back and
Put it in her hand.
Wow.
It was so crazy.
Wow.
Wait till you see it.
Dude, completely unexpected. Did not know that was going to happen. Didn't think
Yo,
that was
so
going to
he's
happen.
like comes around,
Yeah.
slices your neck, and then picks your hand up
Yeah.
and
No.
puts the
He was standing next to the
The
girl.
sister.
He's standing next to his ex-girlfriend.
right.
The sister is across from her. He picks up the knife while standing next to her, slices the sister's throat,
Right.
and then puts the knife in her hand.
Right.
So that it looks like.
So it was like
Oh!
she slit her sister's throat.
Like,
Yeah, it looks like she's-
Oh shit.
So then,
Okay.
like,
Oh
this is one
wow.
lady, blah 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 blah, and then she looks and she sees like all this gushing,
But-
and she starts screaming, and everyone starts like moving back from them.
Tell me that knife wasn't floating for a solid minute. Like we're all looking at that knife.
Yo,
like,
we were all
what's
like-
that knife gonna do now?
I thought Cecilia was done for.
Yeah.
But then you understand why he killed the sister. Because he was still fucking with her mind and
Yep.
fucking with her.
Yeah.
Because what happens? She gets arrested. She goes into this mental
ward,
facility.
Yeah.
And who shows up?
Yeah.
The lawyer, her brother,
brother.
the brother
Yeah.
of Adrian.
Yeah.
And he goes, this money was contingent on you not committing a crime
Right.
and not being crazy. You're doing both right now.
Right. Money to the little girl. Like,
He
she's
goes,
gonna
I
have
also
this
feel
money.
bad because I
Yeah.
know there's money going to a college account.
Yeah.
We're going to have to take that away.
Yeah.
And she keeps saying to him, you know what's going on.
Right.
You know what's happening. And I'm saying to myself, nah, he doesn't. Because she even kind of sided with him. She said, I know he treated you like shit also.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And he's like, I honestly wanted my brother dead more than you did.
Yeah.
So I thought they had linked up like
Yes.
like almost on an emotional level.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then he fucking gives it up.
He put the fucking phone down. He's like,
Yeah.
just letting you know.
Yeah.
He puts the phone down and goes, you say the word, this all stops. He just wants to know.
No,
that-
he goes. Did you really think he didn't know? He let her know. You think he didn't know you were taking birth control?
Yeah. And I called it
You
too.
think?
I knew
Yeah,
it was
he
gonna
changed those pills. You weren't taking that. He
Yeah.
goes. You think he didn't know what you were planning?
Right.
Like he let him know that he knew all of this all along.
But he knew all of this all along. Oh, mind fuck.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Dude, when he started telling everything, and I'm like, I thought you were on the same page with her. But I guess because he's still alive,
Right.
he
He's
still
still
has the control
control.
over him too.
Yeah.
And you just start thinking, they're like, oh my God, this is deep, right? And then we get her in the mental facility. They're trying to ask her questions about killing her sister. And she's like, I wouldn't kill my sister, right? And he doesn't even know how to answer her, the police officer, It's
Right,
just
right.
like, it's just nuts, man. And I didn't see a way out except for her to give in, to call and
I thought
say,
she was going to call.
I thought she was going to give in also. But she comes up with her own plan, man. This is a woman with a
Because she finds
plan.
out she's pregnant.
Right, because now she knows she's pregnant, right?
That's the bid right there. That's her buyout.
Right.
That's
So
all
this
he
is
wants.
this is her card,
Yeah.
right? And then I guess she comes up with a plan because when the lawyer brother was like speaking, she did something, right? She knocks over some paperwork or something.
She threw the cell phone off the table.
Yeah. And then she
Yeah. Oh,
stole
to
one of
get
the
the pen,
pens.
yeah.
She stole a pen while he was looking for the paperwork there. And then with the pen, because it's one of those fancy pens that I've never used in my life,
Fountain pen.
a fountain pen.
Yeah.
How do you even use it? You have to bend it?
No, you just
You just write.
press a little bit.
Yeah, I never used the fountain pen.
Nah.
One day I'm going to sign a real contract with that.
Has no ink.
No contract. So she uses this fountain pen, and I honestly thought again, this movie had me thinking different things throughout the movie.
Right.
I really thought she was gonna try to kill herself because she jabbed it and she said out loud, "You're not gonna have me or your baby." And then you see her jab the pen into her forearm, and then she starts to cut down.
Yeah.
And that's when she tricks me.
Yeah.
Because the Invisible Man grabs her hand and she goes, "I got you, you son of a bitch." I was like,
And she just starts,
oh my
Stab
God.
the shit out of him. Oh my God.
So wait, when she starts hitting them, does it start fucking up the cameras? And
Yeah.
A little bit.
She stabs him with a fountain pen. And you see and you see all the fucking little cameras moving around, and then he starts to phase in and out. And it looks so freaking cool. I was just like, oh, because it's going through, and then you're seeing the suit that the guy is wearing.
Yeah.
But this is where now we can talk about this, Brandon. You said that person was acting differently than the beginning of the.
They were completely different. Yeah, at this point was when when you get the reveal, it makes sense. It made sense to me because the Invisible Man up until this point was very haunting you. Like, I'm haunting you. I'm not gonna be,
physical.
aggressive.
Okay.
I'm not this and that. Like,
But
I'm
he
here to
punched the little girl in the face
But that was to get her out.
to get her out of the
That
house.
was to get her out. That was to turn them against her. The whole thing is to turn everybody against her.
Right.
It's to make her secluded.
That's what he
to
does.
make her alone. That's what he does.
That's what he does, makes her alone, right,
So here we
right.
have this scene where he's caught. He's in and out and this and that, and now people can see him. And so what does he do? He starts killing people. He starts
that part
attacking
was crazy.
people. Like, if this was the Invisible Man from the beginning of the movie, he would have just ran out and have been gone.
Mm-hmm.
This guy starts killing people, and like almost like Superman. Like, he was really strong. Like, he was making some good shots and stuff. It was crazy.
Yeah. So this is gonna be the scene where it is nominated for action sequence of the year. Nina,
John
please.
Wick right here.
Please describe to me your thoughts of the Invisible Man attacking the entire mental facility police force.
I lost count. I don't know. He got 10 people. But the craziest part was, like, remember he took the gun and then he put it to the dude's knee. I was like, no, not his knee.
Bang!
He
No
walked away.
basketball for you.
No. Al, man, talk to me about the scene, man. The police facility, because there was the inside police facility, and then there was the outside police
and then
facility, man.
It was like one of these scenes from a regular action movie. Like, guys just kept coming with guns and getting mowed down as they came into the scene. And in the back of my head, I think I said it to you then, I'm like, she's got a gun 2 inches from her.
Right.
Why isn't she shooting? Especially in the scene, like they like the Invisible Man and that cop sit there for a little while as he's like, no, don't do it. Like, she could have, and at that point he's still glitching in and out, so she knew where he was.
Right.
So I'm like, it was great, but what kept taking me out was, okay, you got a gun right there, start shooting. What's going on? Even if you miss, just shoot everywhere. You might hit them.
Right.
So
Probably.
But-
Or the other officers.
yeah, no, they were already dead. Like,
They were dead at that point. They were
Yeah,
long
but
gone.
According to what you got, they were biting it anyway.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
I'm doing you a favor.
Yeah, he was. But to Brandon's point, he was throwing bodies like nothing.
After you said that, I'm thinking in my head about the scenes, and I'm like, you know what? He was a little bit more brutal in the facility.
Yeah.
You
It
know,
was very out of character.
even with her,
Yeah.
when they were in the parking lot in the rain, he choked her out a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
And
And
the
only
other guy wouldn't touch her.
right. So which
Like,
is
he beat the shit out of her in the house. But, like,
he wouldn't touch her, but he just beat her once.
it was
I'd
like,
like to think I have a little bit more sense than to run up in
but
people's
you know,
houses, put my
the
feet up on the couch.
difference, the
Yeah, I
difference in the house, the difference in the house was like kind of like, I'm letting you know I'm here.
Right.
So like he was really just kind of dragging her. Like he wasn't hitting her. He was dragging her. This guy was like, I'm gonna choke you, like this and that, like
Yeah.
make you drown in the freaking rain, like So it was very aggressive. So it was very different.
Yeah, and then I think that's when the Invisible Man was like, he said something where he's just like, now I'm gonna make the others pay for your actions, and
Yeah.
Oh, right.
and he insinuated the younger girl, so she knew who she was talking about, which is the officer's daughter.
Yeah.
So she's running. I think she hijacked the car.
Yeah, because he took
Yeah,
his
that
car.
was funny.
He left in his car.
Yeah. So they all went chasing after her, and she calls a police officer and says, "You got to get to the house quick. You got to get there ASAP. And then sure enough, you see the door opening by itself and him walking through. And I think she was sleeping.
She was sleeping.
Yes.
And he woke her up. And she sprayed the mace at him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I saw her spray the mace, but I didn't think it hit.
No,
Well, I think
because
it has a smell.
he fell back against the
Yeah,
bill.
he fell back. Yeah.
Oh, and she got scared because she saw the wall move or the stuff move.
Yeah.
And then she started running. And am I correct? And the officer got there before Cecilia
Yeah,
did?
he got there before her.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
And he
And-
saw the daughter being dragged, so he stopped it and then got his ass beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was insane. I thought he was going to kill him.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I thought it too.
The amount of hits that guy was taking to his face,
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
And that's
Jesus.
and that's the same thing as before. Like, in that situation, like, I'm a big guy, and I'm fighting this guy, and I don't know where you are, and so whatever
Yeah.
I do, I'm gonna swing, and I might miss, and I got his
Do
ass
do
whooped.
any of us here doubt for a second that had he been able to see the guy, the officer would have won that fight? Because
He would've won the
Jesus,
fight in 2 seconds.
Jesus,
He would've won that in 2 seconds.
And his name is James. Right?
Yeah.
is James
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
He would have won in like 2 seconds.
James is the man,
Yeah.
and James gets saved by Cecilia. She shows up and she shoots,
Yeah.
Pops.
and we get the reveal. It is the brother.
It's the brother.
It's you, Brandon. You're the Invisible Man.
And I never knew. I never knew.
It's the brother.
So he killed the brother.
No.
no.
Oh no, then you see what else happens.
So at that
keeps
moment,
going.
again, it's a mind fuck. This whole movie, because then I started thinking,
It's like 3
oh
rounds of mind
shoot,
fucking.
Maybe he was dead.
maybe he is dead. He
Right.
committed suicide, and the brother's been doing all this shit to get the money.
Right.
Yeah.
And what does she say to everybody? I felt like she looked at the camera and looked at me. And she goes, "It's him."
Right.
And James is like, "Yo, we got him in the suit. He's
Right.
dead." She's like,
She's like, no,
"It's
still-
not
Right.
him. He's not alone. They work together." And he's like, "Lady, the man is dead, you know." And then
He's like, his body's in my living room
You
right now.
killed him. You killed him.
and then what happens is, I think a news report comes out saying that they found him in
They
the
find him
basement.
in his basement.
Well, no, didn't the SWAT go in?
SWAT team.
SWAT team went
yeah.
in, but why did the SWAT team go in?
Oh, because
because
she was convinced that they were working together.
Yeah.
Because the brother had said, we know what you've been doing. Like, we made this plan.
Yeah,
Okay,
just,
okay.
just go back to him, and we can make this all go away. So they, yeah.
So they end up finding him hidden in this wall,
Right.
tied up,
Yeah.
and looking like he's been there for a while too.
Right.
Yeah.
And she refused to believe it.
Yes.
Because at that point, I was like, maybe it is the brother, you know?
Yeah.
Is there 2 invisible men? Is there 3 suits?
Well, that's what got me, was the fact that there was his suit, and then there was the other suit that was hung up that she hid.
Right.
So there was just like, okay, there's 2 suits, but then I was like, did he give his suit to his brother? Like, are they the same size? Like, so like, was there 3 suits? Like, so that's when I
Uh-oh.
started losing a little bit of it. I was
Did we
just like,
discover a plot hole?
that was like, how
There
many
was a few
suits
things
are
that
there?
weren't explained.
Because there was only one suit hanging up, and she took and she hid it.
Yeah.
So obviously he was wearing a suit, but like, where was that suit before?
Right.
If she didn't know where that one was, it's like, or were there 2 more suits? So like, we didn't know how many suits there were. So that's when I started to maybe think like, maybe he was like just in the wall the whole time, like, because like, how
I'm
many
still not
suits could
sure.
there be? Like,
Yeah,
like,
so much of-
Right.
so
So then we get to the I think what it is she gets a phone call from him saying that he wants another chance. He wants to talk to her.
No, she calls him.
She calls him.
Yeah. Right.
yeah, because
Yeah.
the officer was like, listen, it's done, like it's
Yeah, and she's
over, like
it's not over.
she's like, no, like it's him, like this and that, like
Yeah.
but like he's like, it's over, like just move on. And so that's when she stages the phone call.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So then they stage the phone call for her to meet up with Adrian for dinner
Right.
Yeah.
at his house. Why do they keep going back?
It's a beautiful house, that's why.
Oh
It's a
my
gorgeous
lord!
house.
Amazing
I
house
need to look it up.
with the freaking water in the background.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Anyway, what's it called? So she goes to dinner with him, and he's just like, I didn't know what to order you, so I ordered you everything. I was like, typical douchebag. You want steak with that salmon? So I'm like, oh god. So sure enough, they're sitting on opposite ends, and then she says to him, if you want us to work, if you want any part of your son or daughter's life, you need to admit everything.
Right. Right.
I'm like, oh my gosh, she's wearing a wire.
I was gonna say that was the most obvious sign you had a wire.
I was like,
you need to say
I'm sure
everything
he
loud
knows-
and clear.
Close to my cleavage as possible. But like, wasn't that obvious that she was wearing a wire at that
very
point with that
obvious.
question?
Super
I'm like,
obvious.
no one's gonna fall for that shit.
But he was. He
He
was
did,
falling.
yeah,
Yeah, he
he
was
did.
falling for it. He just kept sticking to, no, I had no
He
idea.
was like, that was
that
him
I
the whole time.
Time out.
Right.
What do you mean he kept sticking to the story? He was doing it through his teeth. It's like, I said I wasn't.
No, but
It
that's
was
because-
him, I swear.
See, I took that as him trying to prove that he was being the good guy, that he wasn't
Right.
being that controlling.
Right.
Dude, he was twitching basically,
Oh, because-
trying to be a good
His hand
guy.
was
Yeah.
shaking, and he mentioned it. He's like, he goes, only for you, my hand shakes. I only let you see my
You're the
hand
only
shake.
person who's yeah.
Oh my god! And then you start hearing the manipulative, words. He goes, "You knew I'm the only one that can help you through this.
Mhm.
You know I'm all you have.
Right.
Trying to mind fuck her again." And then she goes, "All right, I just need you to admit it." He just, "I'm not gonna admit it." And then he goes, "Do you think anybody else would be here for you?" Surprise.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which was a callback because in the beginning of the movie, when she was like fainting, she
Yeah.
heard surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and he texted surprise on
He
the
texted
phone.
her.
Oh, he texted surprise
Yeah.
too?
He texted surprise on the phone, and then the hospital said
And
surprise.
he said it. Yeah. He
Yeah.
said it. Yeah.
So it's just like, oh, he definitely,
Yeah.
he definitely was a part of this. So she goes, "You know what? I'm just gonna go clean up for a
She was
second.
crying,
I'll be
crying,
right back." And so she goes to the bathroom, and you see her just looking in the mirror and everything. And then I think she looks at a video, or his security footage.
Yeah.
And in the security footage, you can see where he's sitting,
Yeah.
and he's just sitting there. And I'm like, where's this going? And we remember the hidden suit.
I love that part.
So my man is sitting there waiting for her to come back. When his hand starts to move, he grabs a knife and slits his own throat.
Yes.
And they show the video footage of it, and it's just like, oh,
And then
not
she
as
runs, yeah.
not as shocking as
the sister.
as
No,
the sister,
Yeah.
but still happens. And this is the part where she becomes scary
Yeah.
because she walks
Which
back
is
in.
that she does in like all of
That's
her
what she
movies. Like
does,
she does
yeah.
that shit.
Yeah.
Like
She walks back into frame, security footage frame,
Yeah.
and she starts to pretend to be, losing it.
Oh, no,
She calls the
wait,
police. She goes, "I think he just committed suicide." She walks out.
They're like, lady, we've been here before.
For real. She starts walking out, and James is out there. And
He's
as
running.
she's walking out, without even trying to fucking hide it,
Yeah.
she has an open bag,
With
and
the
he
s-
and he
the
looks
suit's
inside the
shoved
bag, and the boots basically like the foot of the suit is out of the bag.
like the head and the foot are out.
She's like, "Oh, it's nothing," and he goes, "What happened?" She goes, "You heard him. He committed suicide.
Right.
He was mentally unstable."
Yeah.
And she goes, "There's video footage of it,"
Right.
and he's just
She's like,
like,
you heard it.
and he's looking at her, and she goes,
He's probably like, I'm
The-
scared.
was it the equivalent? Was it me, or was it the equivalent of, "Do we have a problem here?"
Yeah, it kind of seemed that way.
knowing her and how she acts in the movie, yeah. It's
Because
it
even,
probably
even
was.
he was just like, he goes, "You never planned to get him caught on camera, like on tape, did you?"
Right.
And she's like, "You heard him say on tape, like, yeah." And he was just like dumbfounded.
And then he goes, "Yeah, I did hear him sound unstable."
yeah,
And he was almost scared himself.
So he was shocked, like
She had mind control over him, like Debo.
you
which
know
was
what?
crazy.
Yeah.
Like that part right there, I was just like, damn, like, because even he was like, afraid of her. I was like,
Yes.
and I kind of wanted to see where the relationship went past that moment, like,
Yeah, absolutely.
because it ends there. So I was like, I wanted to see where the relationship went, because like, do they still talk? Like,
right.
are they still friends? Like,
Does she
fuck.
still stay there? Does she have access to the money? I don't know. But again, this movie was phenomenal as far as like a horror thriller, whatever it was. For me, man, it's a you definitely should see this movie in the theater. I thought it was really good. Nina, any
Yeah.
thoughts besides that on the movie?
Yes, and then at the end, kind of like when she's walking out, since I'm a Beyonce fan, I wanted to play Who Run the World, Girls. That would have been so fitting. Yes. But she got it. She got everybody.
I got you. And then Brandon,
did.
man, yourself, what's thoughts on the movie?
Honestly, I feel like this is a need to see. Like I
Oh,
thought it
need
was,
to see.
I thought it
Wow.
was really, really good. I mean, some things you can see coming, but I mean the trope of it all, like getting through the movie, like having that double question to yourself, like, maybe she is crazy, maybe
Right.
she's not. And even as it progresses more and you know that there's an invisible man, you're still like, is she crazy or is she
Right,
not?
yeah.
Like,
Yes.
you know, it just keeps you guessing, you know, and the whole sequence of it, the ability, the anxiety without actually being a horror movie.
Yeah.
You know, like it was incredible. You know, just pacing back and forth where nothing has moved in the room at all. It's just the camera moving from left to right. My heart was like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? So like, you know, nothing happens, and it's like the way they pace it, the way they build the story,
was
the way
really
it
good.
goes, it was great. Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Al, man, thoughts on the movie, man?
No, I agree with B there. It's definitely a must see.
Yeah.
You have to see it, and you have to see it at the theater to enjoy it, because there's so much of that nuance. And like I was going back to my comment before with the silence and how do they not hear him? It just adds to all of the scenes because it helps to make that is she imagining this?
Right.
Like you really don't realize that it's all really truly happening.
A lot of
until
twists
the
and
end.
turns. Absolutely.
So it adds to that, and I like the fact that it's not the horror. So if you're into horror, you'll still like it, even though it's not a gory horror movie. But it's a horror movie because there's a lot of scare scenes. I mean, it's more. It goes from psychological scares to literal physical scares.
Yeah.
So I like that. It covers every gamut of what you feel as action, what you feel as drama, what you feel as horror.
Yeah.
I think it covers a lot of those bases.
I got you, man. Sans, man, you have any questions for us regarding the movie or anything like
No,
that?
I thought it was a great movie.
From what you heard.
I know every single part.
Yeah, man. Listen, I think we talked a little too long in this movie, which says a lot about this movie. Usually when we don't like the movie, it's like a half hour. We got plenty of time to talk about something else. This one, we're already an hour in, man.
Oh, wow.
But I guess we'll just keep it on this subject then for now. Knowing how the movie ends with her having the suit in her purse, are you guys interested in a part 2 where she wears the suit, or part 2 she loses the suit, or any kind of part 2 to this?
I don't think there needs to be.
Yeah.
I think this was.
No.
I think that story was the story needed to be. I don't think there needs to be
Yeah.
her doing anything else from there. I think this was the story of a survivor, you know,
Yeah.
and just showing how she survived and continued to do it.
Gotcha, man. Nina, yourself, what you think? Any kind of
I don't
sequels or
think-
anything?
Yeah, I don't think that needs to be done because she kind of like closed everything that needed to be closed.
Yeah.
I mean, unless she like has the baby and then maybe the baby wants to do something with the suit. No, I'm kidding.
I can't find the baby. He's wearing the suit again. Yeah, damn it.
Al, yourself, man?
Yeah, no, I hope they leave it as a one and done movie. They don't, because anything you do to create the sequel, you're gonna have to destroy this story. And this was such a good story. I hope they don't do that.
Yeah, man, I got you. I almost kind of want to see just I like the way they did the suit. I like the story. I'm almost interested in seeing a second take just to see what they do with it.
And this isn't
Yeah.
Universal's done with this dark universe thing, right?
As of right now,
As-
yeah. Right now, they're going to still do the monsters individually,
Uh-huh.
but they're not going to make it like a team up where they were going to do before.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Before, it was going to be a team up of the werewolf, vampire man, invisible man. It was going to be a team up of all these, like,
Mummy and everything.
yeah, but big time celebrities playing these roles. You know, they had
Yeah.
Russell Crowe already as the
Dr.
Dr.
Jekyll.
Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Tom
Cruise is the mummy.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
Really?
That's what they did, yeah.
Tom Cruise actually just played Tom Cruise, and there was just some pyramids in the movie. That's really what happened. He just couldn't die, which is great.
Yeah, man. But listen, man, if you guys are hearing us, we usually, again, if we talk about a movie and we go this long about a movie, it's pretty good. It's pretty good, man, which is surprising me because I thought we were going to talk about some other stuff today, man. But listen, that's going to be episode 50 for us. And just real quick, B, thoughts on hitting 50 episodes?
That's incredible. You know, I think back to when we started, and I know we're getting up to our year soon, but I try and think of like back in time, like where I was when we started this, and I'm like, oh, it wasn't that long ago. I was like, nah, I was like in a whole nother job, like, you know, I was a little younger looking,
Yeah.
you know.
Younger
A little younger looking, a little worse for tears right now. Like, you know? So I know it's incredible. Like, it's been such a fun ride, you know,
Yeah, man.
getting to this point and thinking about like we watched a lot of goddamn movies.
I think that's the best part about it. Like,
But be honest with me. Tell me the movies we've seen we wouldn't have seen already.
True.
most of the movies would have.
most
But
of
there
the
are
movies
we
but
just
there
get
are
to
some
talk about it
movies
with, and
that are
people
in
get to
there
listen,
that-
which is awesome.
There are some movies in there that we probably wouldn't have made. Like, not everybody would have made the effort to be like, you know,
Yeah.
I'll see it later or whatever. And then I think what it also did for us was that in addition to the feature movies that are coming out and coming up, we're looking for things to watch as well, like Midsummer, and then I can't remember the other one that was Heredity, like movies like that.
Hereditary, there you go.
Hereditary, right?
Yeah.
Hereditary. Like, I don't know that I've necessarily found that.
Right.
You know, and the movie with Blake Lively and
Oh yes.
Anna Kendrick.
and Anna Kendrick. That movie that, you know, do me a favor or something like
Simple
that.
Favor.
A Simple Favor, yeah.
yeah.
Like I don't know that I would have found that movie, and I found that movie, and it was a great great movie. It was another one of those movies that like that had those like little twists in it that, you know. So I think what it has done is that it has expanded we're already movie guys.
Yeah.
But now we're expanding into other genres. You know, I'm watching the Oscars and shit like that.
I ain't never watched the Oscars.
I ain't never
before.
watched the Oscars before, you know, just because I'm not into the celebrity and things like that. But, you know, you got it. If you're going to be a movie guy and talk about things like this, you got to watch that stuff. But I think that's what it's done for it. And then, you know, we get together every week like clockwork.
Yeah.
You know, which is cool.
Absolutely,
You know,
man. Al, what's your thoughts on 50 episodes, bro?
It's funny the way I've noticed that I watch movies now. Like I used to always watch for little things, nuances, like, oh, what's the trick?
Right.
What am I not supposed to be catching on to and stuff? But I'm not trying to remember it as much then as I am now.
Right.
Because I'm like, oh, I got to remember that for the podcast, or I got to remember to point out this what I saw, what I think I caught on to, or whatever. So I find that I'm analyzing movies more so as I watch them, with the intention of being able to speak on it after. So it's helping me in a weird way. It's helping me enjoy the movies more.
That's awesome.
Because it's making me pay attention more. Because sometimes, you know, you watch a movie and even if you're interested, you may drift off. You may, you know, all right, let me go get some more popcorn or something like that. But no, now I'm watching because I want to see every part of the movie and be able to talk on it.
And it's funny, man, because I remember something you said to me when we were doing the DCEU rankings. You like talking on the podcast because you get to like say why you like it now, and that you get into details of things that you didn't even know you thought. Which is crazy because sometimes you come up with some like crazy shit out. I'm like, whoa, that's deep, boy. All right. Yeah, man, for me, this is just awesome, man. I first of all, I love each one of you guys. I've known you guys my entire life, basically. And it's just to continue doing that and doing the podcast with you guys. And that we're doing it is going to be a year in like 3 weeks or 4 weeks. It's like crazy to me that we even did this. We've taken this more seriously than basketball leagues. We've taken this more serious than video game leagues. You know what I mean? We used to do all these different things.
I think the only thing we took more seriously was NCAA.
Yeah, that we did.
NCAA football.
NCAA football.
Oh my god.
Start a podcast on that shit. Bring it back. But man, I love doing
we
this.
had conferences and everything.
Yeah, man. I love doing this whole movie thing because I've always loved movies, and I know that I've always tried to get you guys to watch movies with me because I always feel it's more fun to watch movies with your friends. You know what I mean? And I hope that people who are listening to the podcast, you're listening in like watching movies with your friends too. And you know, hopefully you take some of our suggestions, you listen to them. Like Sanjay was just saying about certain movies that he wouldn't have seen. Hopefully you hear something about a movie, you go check it out, and you actually end up liking it. So, you know, I just want to say thank you to everybody who listens to us. I want to say thank you to my three boys here. I was including myself. You're the man, Hoff.
I mean, I know, like I put on a little weight, but damn. Like,
oh, brother, we all have. But yeah, man, I want to thank everybody for listening. The subscriber base is great. The YouTube subscriber list is great, and we're just gonna continue to grow. We're gonna get into some more bigger things in the future.
Plenty of exciting things on the horizon.
Yeah, really soon, actually. I'm like heated up for this light that we got on. But we're gonna start putting some videos out there for you guys
Sure
soon.
is easy to read with all this light, Daddy.
But again, you guys can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Our website is therealfanreview.com. Our email address is therealfanreview@gmail.com. Email us any kind of questions, thoughts, suggestions, or anything. And again, we're looking to the next 50 episodes. We're signing off from here in New York. We got my brother B.
Adios.
My man Al.
Have a good night, everybody.
My boy Sanj.
Have a great evening, everybody.
Yeah, man, and good night from me too. See you on the next one.